Good morning, it's February 4th. This is To My Liberal Friends, and I'm John Haddo. I want to talk about a subject today that everybody hears about, but nobody really likes to talk about, and that's this cancel culture movement that we have in our society. You know, it started with tearing down statues, changing names of people, and trying to sanitize our history in some way. And there seems to be no limits on what we can do. We see universities saying you have to have safe words and you can't use gender pronouns, you can't use certain words, and these snowflakes in universities are offended by this and they don't know what to do if you offend them. I don't know how they're going to survive out in the real world, but it's going to be tough. But recently we had Whoopi Goldberg, who made a fairly stupid statement about the Holocaust, and of course there was righteous indignation all around, and justifiably so in this case, and ABC suspended her from The View for 2 weeks. Now immediately, all our friends in the liberal media said, wait a minute, we know Whoopi, she's not biased in any way, she's one of us, we've got to rally around her. Don Lemon on CNN said we've got to support Whoopi. On MSNBC Morning Joe show, Mika was saying, I know Whoopi, she's not biased anyway, she's not going to do these things, this is unfair. So here's the real problem. If a conservative says something equally stupid, and they do at times, the rush is immediately to ban them, fire them, banish them, don't let them work anywhere. So where is the consistency? Roseanne Barr made a stupid statement, and ABC fired her from a hit show. But they suspend Whoopi for 2 weeks. Now why? Is it because she's an African-American woman? You can't fire her? Or is it because she's liberal? And let's look at The View. Why is there three liberals and one conservative? And they have a hard time finding a conservative to walk in there to get beat up on every day. But why is it 2-2? Where's the fairness there? Why do you need, does it take three liberals to equal one conservative? It must on that show because that's the way they want it. You look at what's going on throughout. When I was a kid growing up, I lived in a very blue-collar neighborhood a block from a steel mill. We had people there of every ethnicity, every race, and we had all kinds of names for everybody. Trust me, if you ever seen the movie Gran Torino with Clint Eastwood, that was my neighborhood. The names he had, and if you remember the scene where he takes the young boy into the barber shop, and they use these, he's called a Pollock. The other guy's a Wop or a Dago. Now, I don't mean these offensive terms, but we use those in my neighborhood all the time. And nobody got offended. It was just part of growing up. And people had names for me. It wasn't that big a deal. But today, suddenly, we're so sensitive that any little thing that we think offends us, we've got to say, oh, you got to stop that, right? Nip it in the bud. And now we find this cancel culture trickling down to our children, trying to imbue them with all of this, what I consider hatred of other people. Because they're different from you, you have to say. I never looked at anybody in my neighborhood, and again, there were all types of people there, as anybody different than me. We just grew up together. We played wiffle ball together. We played tackle football on the concrete, asphalt together. It wasn't a big deal. And when I went to work in the steel mills at Pittsburgh every summer, about an hour and a half into a shift at the Coke Works, everybody was the same race. We were all black. And that's just the way it was. We need to get past this. We need to start accepting that there are some differences. People are going to say stupid things. They can apologize, but not have a double standard and say when a liberal does it, well, we're going to suspend them for a week or two, but then they'll come back and we know they've repented and evolved and they'll be better. But if a conservative says it, we've got to banish them for life. You're either going to be consistent or you're not. And let's get over tearing down statues and changing names of everything just because it makes us feel good. It doesn't do one thing. This has been To My Liberal Friends. Thanks for listening.